What's going on, guys? Philip at Trade Genius. All right, I know I've been getting requests for different alts to be covered in our analysis videos, but I thought it would be prudent to actually just go over the entire alt market right now, because that's really going to affect all of those tokens in question. So what we have here is the entire alt market. So this is alts versus BTC, okay? And this is a weekly chart. So we're going to talk about what I'm looking at as far as how this thing is going to play out going forward. We'll take a look at the Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance directly affects the price of alts because it has an inverse relationship with alts. So we're going to take a look at that and look at how I use the moneymaker on a 4-hour chart to let me know when I should be looking at entries on altcoins. All right, guys, let's dive into this video.
Trade Genius.
All right, guys, back to the weekly chart on alts. Okay, so this is basically your alt market as charted by CoinMarketCap. And as you can see, we're testing this major weekly support resistance level here. Okay, so that's where currently we're finding our support in the alt market. If that breaks down, then I'm looking at this level here, which is going to be this 970,124 level. Okay, if that holds, I think that's probably going to be a gigantic candidate for a major low. And the reason why I'm not too keen on this here is because I think we have to think about what Bitcoin's doing. And I still think Bitcoin's got another move up in it. And if we see another move up out of this consolidation zone that we're currently in, and we start breaking north of 11K, this is going to put more downward pressure on the price of alts in terms of BTC. Now, if the price of alts in BTC is going down, you're better off holding BTC. That's what it means. I don't care if alts are going up in USD. If this ratio is going down, you're better off in BTC. So therein lies the rub. You know, you hear guys posting gains on altcoins in USD when everything's going up in USD. And reality is Bitcoin was the better hold on that. So, you know, you have to understand that dynamic. So that's the risk here on buying what seems to be a local bottom, is that would have the next real support resistance area that I'm looking at would be a bit lower, and could certainly see this dip here. But I think if we get to this level here, which would coincide with a lot of long-term support resistance level on some of the bigger alts, I think you have to go ahead and just, you know, risk reward there is going to be pretty good at that point, because Bitcoin is going to be getting toward the end of the run of this current leg. So this is a big picture weekly chart. This gives you a good idea of why we're holding these levels on altcoins, not really going up and down, just holding that support level. All right, so now what we're going to do is flip over to the Bitcoin dominance chart. So here's the Bitcoin dominance chart, guys. And if you notice this red line, this was our old 2017 peak. So this is taking into consideration, you know, the dominance peaking when we are now in the era of altcoins, right? I think which really started in earnest in the beginning of 2017. A lot of altcoins came into the marketplace, a lot of projects that are still currently going and are considered good alts. You know, it came out of this year. And so this was the peak during that time frame when we had a lot of different alts, and now we've basically double topped off that. I do think that we could see another surge past this and higher, only because of the current parabolic structure that's in play. If that breaks down, then possibly this double top is the end of that move. So that's the other scenario that could play out. But currently I think the odds are in favor that if Bitcoin can start gaining some momentum, break back above 11K, that this goes higher. So the thing is, though, if you notice where we are at with alts, notice how much lower the alt market is than when it was back over here. So the overall market cap is lower in the entire market space than it was back here. Okay, so I think that's another thing too that people are freaked out about, is because I think people are expecting the altcoins to be at a higher market cap than we currently are at. It's just been going lower and lower. In fact, ever since that peak in 2017, it's really never made a major new high at all. So if we do see that finally, where we see one of these major local tops get taken out, I think at that point, that's going to be validation that we have the start of an alt season, and a sustained alt season, a la what we saw here in 2017. And the returns will be spectacular. I think this type of move is still in the cards for alts. So don't, you know, but this is what some of these markets do. You get into a big bear market and you think there's no end in sight, and you end up cashing out. And then all of a sudden it bottoms out and takes off, and you're wishing you just held. So some of these bags that some of you may be holding, you know, just I think they will recover significantly. It's just a matter of time. But it would be helpful if those projects that you're holding are valid projects that have some potential in them, not just projects that really don't have any development behind them. One thing to note though is when BTC does hit these higher valuations, so considering that we're in the era of the altcoin, right? 70% is considered a very high dominance percentage. If you look at the stochastic, when we're in the era of the altcoins, okay, so post 2017, you'll notice that we don't spend a lot of time in this overbought condition when it comes to market dominance. So this is a big indication, a heads up, that probably getting close to an altcoin bottom long term. That doesn't mean we're going to start seeing a bounce in a week or two, but I'm just saying, this needs to be on your radar that if you're looking for longer term plays on alts, some strong alts, it actually would not hurt to start positioning in, doing some laddered buys, getting a long-term position established, because that's what this is telling me here. Now, for a shorter term stuff set up, what you can do, even though we're going down and in an altcoin bear market, what you can do is actually take a look at some signals on the 4-hour. Let me show you what I mean. All right, guys, so what I like to do is I like to set an alert on my moneymaker. I'll just set an alert, a buy alert on the 4-hour chart. I want to make sure that my technicals are in a buy area. So the stochastic or the stoch RSI, they're cycling down, and you can use another oscillator, just make sure that it's in an oversold condition down here at the bottom versus up here at the top. And if that all jives, we're at the bottom of the linear regression range, then, I get an alert, I check that out, and then I'll start looking at some alts that have similar setups. And that's a good opportunity to get in. Now, we're not talking big gains here. As far as the alts go, in this type of environment, 4 to 8% on a swing trade is probably all you can really expect to get until we start getting a solid change in the trend and we start making higher highs on a 4-hour chart, for example. So it's very simple. I just, again, set this up, moneymaker alerts, and then I go looking for very short-term swing trades on the alts. You can do that all the time. This one will give you a little bit, if you don't have time to babysit very short-term entries like on a 15-minute chart, this will allow you to get in and get into a swing trade that will play out over the course of a day or two. So it's a little more manageable in that respect. So very doable on a 4-hour chart, waiting for a signal entry like this. So that's my approach on alts right now, guys. To summarize, I think we are going to see a bottom in the alts, but you have to be prepared for that one final leg down, I think, is what we're looking at. And then I think it's going to set up for some extremely high percentage returns over, I would say, several weeks to a month or more as things bounce from these oversold levels in alts, especially in the big caps first. So your majors, Litecoin, Ethereum, even Bitcoin Cash, and then it starts trickling down into your mid caps and lower caps. Okay, so that's how it goes. Okay, so that's it. Just want to keep it short. I hope that helps. If you have any questions, leave them below and I'll get back to you. Thanks for watching, guys. Please hit like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.
Trade Genius.